Hello,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Test of Thyme
love, passion, and hustle.
in the restaurant business.
We are Jamie and Marcus.
And you want to tell a little bit about, we probably haven't said what we do, that we own Aroma Time. Let's talk a little bit about
So
that a
we've
little bit.
owned a restaurant for the last 20 years in upstate New York since 2003. We opened. We've seen a lot of changes,
We sure have. In
Made-
20 years, made a lot of mistakes,
ton of mistakes.
seen a lot of changes, and we are just here to help you try not to make some of the mistakes that we've made, and also just to share some experiences
Yep.
with you, and just share
Stories.
there.
Yep. So when we opened 20 years ago, there was no such thing as a smartphone,
No, there's no.
right? You
No.
did not text anybody in 2003.
No.
You sent emails.
And emails were like popular, but you shared an email address. Like we shared an email address at that time.
Right.
Right? Like everything went to one email address. Like we didn't have separate email addresses. There was no, maybe Facebook, was it around?
Nope.
Nope. there was no
MySpace.
Facebook. Oh yeah, that's right.
MySpace was just coming up, and I remember some restaurants having MySpace pages instead of websites, and there's some places that have Facebook pages instead of websites, which you don't recommend. That's not today's topic, though. But it's that phone. How is that
phone?
How is that smartphone transformed what we do on a relationship basis? Right now,
you love to tell the story that our smartphones, right? That years ago, right? That you about the fax machine. Tell that story a little bit.
So I remember the commercials from the early to mid 90s where AT&T would say, soon you'll be able to sit on a beach and send a fax. And
you
in
thought
1992, 93, like I'm thinking, how in the world can you, how are you going to sit on a lounge chair on a beach with a fax machine and be able to send a fax from the beach? I was just a little puzzled by all that. But they understated what the technology was that was coming, right? Because now you can film with a Hollywood quality camera on your iPhone, smartphone.
You can now scan documents like a fax machine
Yep.
on here. You can send emails from your phone. You can pretty much do everything from a phone.
You can sign contracts, right? You have all those DocuSign web programs. You can sign documents. You can make a video. You can edit it. You can go viral. You can post views. You can sell things.
I heard somebody say that your phone is like your wallet, and it is like your wallet now. Now you can pay bills from here. You can do everything from your phone, and we don't leave home without it. We are crazy about always having it with us, and if we don't have it with us, we feel naked almost. You feel like you're missing something.
So now, how has this affected? So first of all,
I remember 15 years ago when we were part of our restaurant marketing group, we were talking about, or maybe 12 years ago, however many years ago it was, that how can we keep cell phones out of the pockets of our employees, right?
How do you keep it in the pocket?
How do you keep that in the pocket? And back then, people left their phones in their cars, like it didn't matter. Now it's not like that.
It's not like that. No.
Now your phone is like everything.
Right. So now, first of all, we are in the relationship business, right? We're in the we're a full service restaurant, but whether you're casual, full service, casuals, whatever you are, you're in the relationship business. We like to buy from people that we love and trust, our salespeople.
Yes.
And consumers like to buy from people that they like and trust and get a good vibe from. And here's the issue with staff. Staff, we know all of us will admit that staff can be probably at an all-time low right now for quality staff. We go out to other restaurants, we're like, they just don't get it here. So here's the downfall: is this phone has created a new way of communicating without people being face to face. So
it's easy to just send a text message.
It is,
right? You read it when you want, you answer when you want. You don't have to pick up the phone, you don't have to call, you don't have to talk to somebody, you don't have to be face to face, right?
Yep. So restaurant owners, the other restaurant owners I speak to and help and coach and talk to, I'm like, you have to train your staff to communicate, smile, and to care. And people are like, well, I shouldn't have to teach my staff how to do that. No, you're dealing with people, you have to. You're dealing with people that only have use of the cell phone, and they would be more comfortable walking over to a table and saying, can I get your phone number? Or having them write down, can I get your phone number? And walking away and texting the table, what would you like to eat? What can I get you? Do you need more water? This is who the people you're hiring. They're used to doing this with everything else in their life. Is they're not used to talking to people face to face. So when you walk into a restaurant and the hostess doesn't smile, it's just because that's what that person's never had to really smile to make money and be in business or to work, right? And the person waiting on you, the bartender, these people don't do that. They send LOL and emojis. That's their form of smiling.
A smile is an emoji,
right?
And I'm as you're talking, I'm thinking about the one time we went out to a brewery, right? And we were sitting there, and you had to put in your order. Remember that time? And nobody came over to you.
Right.
Nobody, nothing. And you couldn't use, I mean, and this was not that long ago, but you two seats couldn't order from the same bill.
The same bill. I had to pay separately. Right.
And there
was like 4 couples.
It was so insane to me that this was the way that we were communicating with a server. And literally, you placed the order, they came over and they put it on your table and they left. And then they asked for a tip.
Right. So I just wanted to be able to say, hey, what's your most popular beer?
Right, exactly.
I like this kind of beer. I'm a hazy IPA guy. I don't want too much alcohol. I want higher alcohol. You know, how's your brisket, right? I wanted to ask questions like that, and
they
couldn't.
We couldn't.
There was nobody there to do that.
No. And so we had to get up, go walk over to the bar, ask some questions, come back, and say, could somebody come and actually talk to you?
Yeah, could a real person come talk? Yep.
You know,
now the one thing it did have an advantage of was once you place the order, our beers came out to us. Now, but here's the disadvantage: 4 couples at the table, 8 people. We ordered before the other couple, so we got our beer first.
Yeah.
Then they got their drinks later, and then how the orders went into the bar was how you got it back. So you have a bigger table, all getting drinks at the different time, which to me that's not cool, right? So bring us all the drinks at one time if you can, even if it's like 2 separate people. Like imagine 2 separate people, 2 separate bills at lunch, and you're having that kind of, well, your food's here first, it's weird, right?
It was a little.
But owners complain that, well, I have no choice but to do this. No, your choice is to train your team on the basics of life. And it's sad that it's come to this, but that's what it is.
I mean, we try to do that with our staff all the time. I mean, it doesn't always work. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to train them on all of the things, right?
It is.
That you have to train them on, but it's super important to give them those life lessons. And, we have an employee right now that, feels bad when food takes a little bit longer or the drinks take a little bit longer. And, that she's been trained somewhere before she came to us where she cares to give an experience to the guest and make sure that they're happy. And I think that's really hard to find with the younger kids.
So we recently had margaritas at a place, and the margaritas came out with fruit flies in them. And first of all, it was impossible to get the server to us to begin with. And this and that after we're sitting there drinking, we want margaritas. It's a nice warm day. We're in the sun and we're looking at the fruit flies and we're like, oh boy, if it was us at home, we just strain them out for ourselves, right? But I'm like, so we start drinking it, and we say something to the server.
She didn't say anything.
She didn't know how to respond.
Sorry.
Didn't know how to respond. Didn't show us that she cared. Didn't tell anybody. And we're like, well, gee, we said something. Maybe we made too light of the situation. Maybe we should have said, I don't want these. Take these back instead of, hey, these have flies in them. It was.
Yeah, but it's not our job to, as a consumer or somebody paying, I don't believe it's your job to tell them how to fix the problem. I think it's their job as a server, because you're tipping them to take care of you.
Right.
It's their job to take care of you.
Right.
And I disagree with that. I think that, yes, there's a time and a place for saying, well, I want a discount, or, what, I don't want to pay for these drinks, but they should be knowledgeable enough to know what to do in those
situations. And you have to teach your staff how to care. You have to. So now the owner or the manager of that place has no idea what's happening. And it happened to us. Guarantee this person is
other people,
brushing off other people's complaints as well.
Yeah.
Right. Just like, okay, like.
And it'll be interesting because I sent an email to the management. So we'll see if I get something back. And I haven't yet. So we'll see if we get something.
Yeah. So interesting, because when we get an email, we always respond right away. I always just say, call me. Call me. I want to hear your experience. Please call me. So as sort of like testing to see what other restaurants do, we had some bad experiences recently, and nothing to put on, nothing to write a review or anything, but things that management should know, right? Like fruit flies in there, and some other things like substituting out something behind the bar and a drink, and us saying we don't want it, and the person saying, well, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. They're substituting at all. It wasn't the same thing. They forgot to order. They didn't have it, and they didn't change their menu.
Well, at least just tell us.
And the one had red dye in it. I don't want to drink with red dye in it, and the other one doesn't have red dye. And to me, it's important. And she kept arguing, well, it's the same thing. I'm like, no, it's not. You won't taste the difference. I'm like, but I don't want that product that has the red dye in it. So, and we sent these messages out. And we haven't gotten any response.
So you can probably guarantee that if they're not responding, the servers, then
something from management. Something straight from management.
It starts at the top. Everything starts at the top and it trickles its way down.
Yes.
So
for us, we respond right away. Call me. And
I think that's important. I think that's important to respond right away. And I think it's important to, train your staff on how to deal with things.
The one thing,
pick up your cell phone. And your momentum buddy, mentioned to you, right, that if you sat there and tried to text an order back and forth, you wouldn't go out to that restaurant.
Right.
You wouldn't go. So, train your staff how to be communicative.
Right. So, and again, we teach our team members that people just want to be heard, taken care of and heard. Somebody says something, you go get management right away. You go do something. You empower them to do something and make a difference. I'll never forget the one time we were in Montreal. We ordered the Caesar salad. I don't know why they put bacon on Caesar salad, but it was on the menu. So I said, no bacon, please, on our Caesar salad. Caesar salads come out with bacon. And I said to the server, I said, is that bacon in there? They were like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so sorry. Let me replace those right away. And you know what? I'm going to buy you a round of dessert. Without blinking an eye, did that. And I was like, this team member's empowered. That team member did not do that on their own. They were taught
how to do.
They were taught what to do. They care. They generally care, maybe that team member, but they were taught what to do in that situation. So now, fruit fly should have been, oh my gosh,
let me get you.
You shouldn't have to drink stuff with fruit flies. Let me get you stuff right away. Let me replace those right away for you. I wouldn't even care if they would have taken them back and trained them.
Right. I just don't want to see them.
I don't want to see them, because what's really going to happen is they're going to go into the bottle of triple sec or where the fruit flies are, and they're going to strain it and pour it back in and serve it anyway. So, but at least show me that you can. Show me that you can.
And I think that's lacking in some employees. I think it's a little tricky to find that caring mode. So, just be picky with your staff, right? And train.
Yes, train. So I think this is episode 27. It's been a while since we've done one.
Yep, episode number
27. Sometimes we make a mistake and we don't keep proper notes. Episode 27. And I think we made our point.
I think so.
In this episode, train your staff. Train your staff the basics of life. I like to say that we're their life coaches. Some people come to you that have no experience in this kind of stuff, but if you work and spend time with them, they're amazing people and amazing employees.
Yep.
And some people just are never going to get it. And when you understand that they're never going to get it, it's time to cut loose. Yep. Because you know what, there is a job for them.
It's just not that.
It's just not your job you're looking to be done. Because everybody has some kind of talent or calling or comfortable in doing something, right? So, playing drums on a stage, being a musician on a stage is different than waiting on people.
Right.
Two different people. So same thing. Being a cashier at a restaurant, at a grocery store is different than, working in a zoo, talking to animals all day, right? Feeding animals all day.
There's a job for everybody.
So yeah. So, and I like to ask employees, like when we interview them, Like, what are some of your other hobbies besides work? Like, what do you enjoy besides work? Like, what do you do for fun? What do you do? What do you do for a hobby? What do you collect? Like what do you look forward to? You can kind of see, and sometimes you'll figure out. Like, somebody says, "Oh wow!" Like we had somebody who came in one time, filled in an application, and we were open, and she ordered a glass of wine. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know what you would do, but I'm like, hired.
She didn't quite work out, but she was hired.
She was hired.
She was hired.
Yeah, she worked for us in the office.
I know.
Well, yeah, okay, but she worked out.
I was thinking of somebody else. The same thing though. She came in, she sat at the bar,
Okay.
she ordered a glass of wine, and she asked for an application.
Yeah, but she was a sob case.
Yes.
But the other,
saying,
yeah,
and she's still working for us actually.
the one who, the original one I'm talking about, yeah.
Sorry, I
still working for us, yeah. I'm like, here's somebody who's interested in wine, and here's somebody, because sometimes you hire staff and they go to the table. I don't drink wine, so I can't recommend you anything.
Right. And I remember.
So I'm not going to force people to drink wine who want to work for us. Have an understanding and a basic and be able to maneuver your way around the guests and the consumers, saying, we have some great wines that we offer. Do you want white or red? And let me bring you a sample of our most popular red. Right. Instead of, I don't drink, I don't know. I mean, I can't stand that. I don't drink wine. I don't know which wine.
Well, they don't know, so it's your job to train.
It's your job.
Back to that same thing of train.
You wouldn't go to a car dealership and be like, well, how does this car drive? I don't know. I don't drive.
I don't even know how to drive.
I don't drive. I don't have my license. I don't drive.
Right.
Like, well, can you tell me anything about the car? Like, well, it's green or it's blue or it's white. Well, that's obvious, right? So,
yes.
All right. So for more great tips on how to run a restaurant, where do they go?
50mistakes.com, 50mistakes.com, and
that rolls you into Restaurant Growth Secrets University, yes, where we have a great platform on how you can train your team. So it has all kinds of things. Yeah. The one video I like on there is the power of the smile. Right. Number one sales tool. It's called the power of the smile. So
smiling is important.
You got to teach it.
You sure do.
If you're not teaching your staff how to smile, nobody really is.
Right.
It's a talent that just not, you can't take for granted anymore.
No.
So, all right, folks.
Thank you for listening. This is episode number 27, Test of Thyme, Love, Passion, and Hustle in the Restaurant Business.
Till next time.